for bananas. Okay. Okay. So how we usually start is just so that you get comfortable where you are. You can lie on the carpet if you want, on the desk, chill in your chair. I just want you to be comfortable. And then we're first going to start by just breathing. And as you breathe, you're going to breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. As we breathe, keep in mind a circular motion. So you picture Yahweh in front of you. So we're engaging the breath of Yahweh when we breathe. When we breathe in, we breathe from his breath, and then we breathe out into his. The important part while you're breathing is to know that you are breathing in the scroll and the blueprint for tonight's or for today's engagement. In that breath, and you are releasing it into your spirit. So when you breathe in deep, and you see that scroll being embedded in your spirit, and you breathe out. Breath unto breath. Okay. So you just continue engage with that breath, and then we'll in a moment take it from there. As you're breathing in, start to experience your spirit. Sensitivity of your spirit is starting to be heightened, and the natural realm is starting to shift away. As you're breathing, you can just feel your body starting to get lighter. As your spirit man is just soaking up that breath of Yahweh in you. Keep on picturing that motion of the breath. Your breath in him, his breath into you. As you breathe it in, see that frequency and vibration in the breath of Yahweh being released into your spirit. As it's released in your spirit, in your next breath, you're breathing in and you just feel that vibration and that frequency of his image just resonating into your spirit. If you're struggling with thoughts, as you breathe in, when you breathe out, breathe that thought out into him. want you to imagine or see just the natural realm falling away. It's like a box that opens and the sides just collapse. And you just see the physical realm disappearing under your feet, but you're focusing on Yahweh that's in front of you, breath unto breath. As you are breathing, move closer to Him. Just let your spirit man, yes, we are already in Christ, He's in us, but just for the activation, just move towards Him and you just see your spirit and His spirit just merging and becoming one. As you move into Him, as your spirit is one with His spirit, I want you to picture a door in a triangle, like a vortex nearly. As you are into Him, I want you to see that door in a triangle shape, and that you see that Shin, Lamed, Mem, in the corners of that triangle. In the middle is the Yud, perfect 10. That is our gate. I want you to move towards that Yud. You step through that triangle, through that gate, and in front of the Yud is the angel of Yud standing. And he has a scroll that the angel is going to give you. Take that scroll. Just want you to push it into your spirit, because the blueprint of the engagement of going into Yud is in that scroll, and it's being released into your spirit. As you put it in your spirit, see that Yud in front of you, and for your imagination, always imagine galaxies wide. We're engaging things that have got no limit. I want you to move towards that Yud. See it go wider and wider and wider. I want you to move, and I want you to go into the Yud. Feel your spirit just being aware of that change over from the one realm into the next. Your whole body, your whole spirit changes completely. The frequency, be aware of the frequency in your body is heightened. That intense creative power that is within Yod, you can just feel in your spirit. You can feel that frequency, that vibration. That energy is intensifying in your spirit. So I just want to give you a minute. Just soak up what you are experiencing in your spirit as you are moving through the gate. As you move through that gate of Yod, just feel your body is completely transformed, and you can feel that energy and that power of Yod within your spirit. As you move through, I want you to see circles. Each circle represents a realm of that creative power that is within Yahweh. I want you to go through the, the circles that you see in front of you. So we're going in deeper realms. So all we're doing is we're just unlocking the consciousness within our spirit of going deeper within that realm. As you see that circle, move through the circle and then be aware of a change in your spirit. Go through the next one, change in your spirit. Each time you go through, there's just an increase in sensitivity of your spirit and the spirit realm. Go through 5 circles. 5 equals Hay. Hay is the breath of God. And I want you to stop at the 5th circle and just wait there. At the 5th circle, I want you to look through that circle, and it is like a dome, a globe, see-through globe, massive, galaxies wide and deep. And as you move through the 5th one, I want you to feel an intensity of the breath of Yahweh that hits your spirit. Great impact and force. When that happens, I want you to see that that which is in you that is not supposed to go through, like it just pushes it out of your body, out of your spirit, and it stays behind. And you move through that 5th circle into this dome-like realm. In that realm, you will see the angels are moving around. There are scrolls that are flying around. And a scroll is a being. Nothing is dead in the spirit realm. And as these angels are moving around, you can just get a sense of there's creativity in the spirit. And with that creativity, there's the breath of Yahweh that you can just feel that is moving in and through you. And as you move through that globe, you can just see the angels are facilitating those scrolls, and they moving in and through as they are busy administering and working with Yahweh. In that place, I want you to see your angel coming towards you, your guardian angel. And he's got a scroll, or she's got a scroll giving to you what your engagement is going to be within Shalem, within what's complete. If you remember in the blog, it is done. It is finished. It is complete. Also, it means you are coming into alignment. So I want you to, as you've got that scroll, Jesus is coming to you. as he approaches you, I mean, you can just take a moment and just soak up how awesome he looks. And he takes your hand and he's leading you to a secret garden or secret space. You are going with Jesus to that secret place, and he's going to speak to you like an intimacy chamber. And what he's going to speak to you about and what you are going to engage with him about is the things that you are struggling with. So, in other words, an insecurity or lack of self confidence, whatever it is, there's something that does not fit into it is complete. You are healed, you are whole, you are perfect in him. I'm just going to give you some time. You and Jesus are going to chat as to what is it that he wants to highlight that we are going to get rid of in that realm of being complete in him. There can be a hurt. There can be something that you've been walking with for a long time. I can give you another minute. as you are there in that secret place with Jesus, that thing that you were speaking about or that he pointed out, I want you to put your hands into your spirit, into your heart. I want you to take it out and give it to him. As you give it to him, he takes his spirit and he just pushes it into you. So as if to plug the hole that is there. So you're taking out whatever it is, insecurity or hurt, and you're giving it to him. And he's just putting healing and wholeness back into you. As you do that, I want you to experience the radiance of his presence coming out from your spirit. You're starting to feel a heat like fire. So this is the Shin of Shalem. As you feel that fire starting to kindle in your spirit, you can feel the heat. You can feel that frequency. It's getting hot. It's burning. And as it's rising in your spirit, you can just feel it's just overtaking you. And it's like that presence of Jesus is just a raging fire in your spirit. And anything that is incomplete or that you perceived as incomplete is completely consumed and obliterated by that fire of his presence. And as you're standing there with that radiance of Jesus that is just burning in and through you, just want you to see Jesus stepping into you, and it's like a superhuman suit that just empowers your spirit and your confidence. And as you are standing there, you can just see as in a mirror that there's no difference between you and Jesus. That purity that just shines in and through your spirit. Now, Jesus also acts as the Lamed, which is the second letter, and it's just propping you up. It's lifting up your head. And that which you always used to hang your head about, it's lifting up your head because of the confidence of who and what you are in and through him. As your spirit is burning with that presence of Jesus, Jesus takes you, you're going back into that globe, that realm. And remember how you look like. You know, you're that shining radiance. You can feel that anything that dragged you down, any insecurity that there was, or whatever it was, imperfection, it is gone. That old self is just completely obliterated. As you move with Jesus into this realm, and he takes you deeper and deeper and deeper. As you are in the middle of this place and you see the scrolls are moving around, the angelic realm is moving around, just want you to see you are starting to descend, you are going down with Jesus. And as you are moving down, you can feel the intensity of the realm that you're in is intensifying. You can see the colors changing around you. The angels are changing around you. You just continue to move down as Jesus is taking you into a new realm. As you go down, I want you to see water at the bottom. And you're starting to move into this water with Jesus. But it's different kind of water. It's not the water like we know. As you go into that water, be aware of the color in that water as we are engaging the waters of the heavenly. So mysteries are embedded within those waters. So we're engaging the mystery of being completed in Him. As you descend and go down with Jesus into the waters, I want you to see the mystery of being completed. It's like doors that are opening up in your spirit. And when you look at yourself, you realize you are not the same person that you used to be. That you are completely different. Look at the angels, how they're looking at you because of the magnificence and that glory of Yeshua in and through you. And as you are in these waters, I want you to go into the water. It's over your head. And I want you to breathe that water in. When you breathe it in, you're breathing in the mystery of being shalem, being complete in Him, and you breathe it out. Breathe it in, do it a couple of times as the mysteries in that waters are being released into your spirit. From there, Jesus is taking and you descending further down in that water. And He's taking you to the place when creation was initiated. Into that place where He separated the upper waters and the lower waters. Where He released the letters. When He spoke, creation came into being. As Jesus is taking you into that realm of the beginning, when everything is complete, when everything is original, I want you to, as you go and stand, I want you to see the Godhead there with you, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. And imagine being in that place where they're about to release creation, where the Spirit is going to hover over the darkness, where Yahweh is going to speak and creation is going to unfold. You are in that realm. You are original intent, complete. In that space, your angel is going to come and she's going to give you a scroll. And in that scroll is written your life story designed by Jesus, written by Him. I want you to, as you open that scroll, as you stand in the beginning of time with Him, and you look into the scroll, whether you can see something now or not, you are looking into complete perfection and design of His intent that He has for you. I want you to look on that scroll and you see it's like a roadmap. And every turn and direction was planned before time began. That scroll that you see there in front of you is what Yahweh drafted up with the councils before creation started and said, this is your story. This is the design and the completeness that you are going to walk into. as you are in that place and you look into that scroll, be aware of the frequency being released from that scroll, and you are breathing it in into your spirit. You are restoring original intent. You breathe in that frequency, you breathe in the color. There's angels embedded in that scroll, and you're breathing it in as they are newly activated, facilitate your destiny and your completeness in Him. I want you to just take a minute or two as you go through that process. What is it that you are seeing in the scroll? What are you experiencing? Is there something being released in you that you haven't been aware of? Allow the interaction with the Spirit to just activate into your spirit man. What is it that you are seeing and experiencing? Just going to give you another minute. As your scroll is in front of you, the completeness that you have in you, I want you to see everything lifting off of that scroll and moving into your spirit. That it is entangling with your DNA, that is opening new gates, new doorways, new pathways, as it just intertwines with your DNA and becomes one with you, and refreshing your spirit as to the newness to walk in destiny, purpose, ignited in your spirit. Maybe you felt like you're not list for life anymore. It's just completely changing that in your spirit. I want you to see as it moves into your spirit that the angelic realms attached to that scroll moves into your spirit as well. Your spirit, man, has got no boundaries. See those angels moving in through you as they are activated with new mandates to facilitate that which is complete in you. As you are in that space, I want you to just look behind you and you will see thrones. And you see Jesus sitting into his throne, and your throne is next to him. And you go and sit on your throne. When you sit on that throne, experience the peace and the love that you can experience. Because there is nothing short in you. You are complete. You are whole. And as you are seated, think of the scripture, I'm seated with Christ in heavenly places. You're not going to leave that seat. As you are sitting in your throne, scroll your completeness that you've engaged. I want you to see that whole experience just culminating into your spirit. It's like that throne, and where you're seated, it like is collapsing into you. The realm and the globe where we were with the scrolls, being in the beginning of time, it's all collapsing into your spirit. Because Christ is in you. All of that is in you. I want you to, as that's happening, to breathe in. You are activating it into your spirit and your body. You breathe out. Breathe in again. We want to do it 5 times. Breathe out. Breathe in a 3rd time. Breathe out. Breathe in a 4th time. Breathe out. Now on the 5th time, when you breathe in, the 5th letter, hey, you're breathing in. I want you to see your destiny, your future in front of you. Any which way you want to picture it. As you breathe in, I want you to breathe it out over into your destiny, into your purpose. You're releasing that scroll into the environment, into the spirit realm. You are releasing and breathing, and you blow it over the environment. And when you blow, you just see release all that is embedded into you as moving into your future, your current circumstances, and it's like a hologram blueprint is just fixed there for manifestation. See the angels, as you've breathed out, they've moved out with the breath. It's the breath contains the blueprints. They move out to facilitate the manifestation of that blueprint, the destiny, the completeness that you are in. And then I want you to breathe in again. And as you breathe out, I want you to open your eyes. We don't want to leave that place. So that is your place of engagement, there where you are seated with Christ. We never want to come back. I don't want to come back. We are there in that realm, operating from that place. I want to encourage you something that you can exercise when you have your meditation time, or when you are struggling and you feel like things aren't aligning in your life, or you feel like, I've got a destiny and purpose, but, it's I feel like I'm going nowhere. You go into that place. We all feel like that at some point in our lives, where we feel like, I'm at that crossroad for my next and I don't know what it is. You go to this place. You engage the angel of your scroll, and you go and you sit with Jesus, let him minister to you, and you go to that place so that the angel can give you that scroll of your completeness and destiny in him, and you engage in that is in there, and then you start releasing it and blowing it out into your environment. Remember, you're a spirit being. So we always think spiritually, and we first release from the spirit, and the physical follows after that. So it's just a simple but a practical engagement for you to release. Awesome stuff. I want to open the floor, and if there's anybody that wants to start, they can go for it to share. While you guys are going to share, I'll just post that link that I said I would. Marshall, get the ball rolling. Thank you.
It's changing. My things ain't flowing as it used to. It's slowing down. It's becoming. I immediately stepped into a place of fire, but it was a slow burning fire, and it was just my awareness of this place. There was no body, nothing, and I know wisdom was there with me. I never engaged her, but I just know she was there. In this place of fire, I could see gaps between the fire. So I went back into a microscopical realm and saw the gaps between the fire, which I didn't understand and take much notice of it till we came to the place of water. And as I was still in this place of fire, and the fire went into the water, and it's like the water completed the fire. The fire and the water was one. When we stood in the place of creation, which I've stood many times before, I brought this fire completeness with me. And this time I didn't see entities, as I can put it, but I saw myself as a realm from above. And Jesus was a realm, wisdom was a realm, Father was a realm within this realm. But then again, I got taken back to that small little fire in my cave. Is that fire was that fire, that completeness. And it was a realm within a realm, but it was it's so difficult to explain. It's hard. It's just, my view is expanded. Nothing is particular anymore. Everything is now It is. I'm going through another transformation. Where previously, when I started, everything was little bits, my body changing, things changing out. And now that doesn't matter to me anymore. It's a conscious awareness of what I am, the realm that I am, what I am connected to, what I am, the divinity. That's all I can say. But within that divinity, the uniqueness of who I am and what I'm capable of. And within this whole engagement, I've realized that I'm starting to, I listen to what you're saying. And as I'm engaging with that, I'm engaging with other stuff. For instance, I, just felt very strongly in me. One of my friends, auntie is in hospital in South Africa, and yesterday I engaged, but this morning I was just standing at the foot of a bed again, holding her ankles, administering healing. So everything is starting to fall in place of the trueness of who I am and what I can do, the limitless entity that I am, if I can put it like that. I'm one, but yes, I'm separate, but I'm one as well. Yeah, it's been a real, yeah.
A lot's happening there.
Yeah, still happening, to be honest. I'm sitting here and I'm still, that's why I put my camera off. I was like, I wasn't finished.
And I pulled you out of it.
To be continued. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Marcel. Go for it.
Can
Becky.
I ask yes. I need my senses rejuvenated.
Okay, let's first share the engagements, and after the engagements,
okay.
then we'll get to questions.
Yes. It was, I hate to say it, bland, but I went with it. And I saw the broadness of the universe, in that room, and the scroll going in, and some of my understanding isn't there. I just kind of go through the motions, and I have more sense of feeling. And then it was more like I was drunk. And I couldn't tell you maybe all what was going on, but something went on. And I'm new at this, but I want it. I'm willing to try. And I came back and I could tell the lightness of my body. And I injured my back yesterday, and it's much more limber now.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you for sharing, Becky.
Mm-hmm.
It is, be encouraged that your spirit hasn't experienced stuff like this. So it is carving out new pathways, etc. So I don't want to say it's a muscle that you are exercising, but you are unlocking new realms and depth of those senses. So it's a journey that you are walking. So in the beginning, it was more you feeling things, etc. You sensing, seeing one or two things. That is wonderful. It's perfect. As you go further on, your spirit is being unlocked, and you'll start to experience more and more as you move forward. So that's fantastic. Well done, Becky.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, go for it, Karen.
Wonderful. Oh, I'm so glad I found you guys. I so enjoyed that. Thank you so much. As we just started with the encounter, I felt such a strong pull on my spirit. and I was pulled to a place of delight and joy and dancing. And in that place, there was these fireballs that were thrown into my spirit. Started with small ones, then it got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until that totally encapsulated me. And from that place, when you started to talk about the circles, just behind that experience of the fire, I was given like a stormwater grid. And I was asking in the spirit, you know, what is this for? But as you took us through that circles of the creativity that is in Jesus, that breath, I understood that this grid is to catch off everything that is not supposed to be there, so that can be, taken away. And what was beautiful in this place beyond those circles, there was this marvelous library. And in the floor of that library, Jesus pulled me down. And just after that, you said, and then we descended. So it was as if, that was just so marvelous. And it was as if we were going down these steps of water, and then you said, we're going into the water. And that was just totally beautiful. I'm skipping a couple of things because I want to get to that scroll, because this was the first time that I saw the scroll literally like a frequency, something that is alive. It jumped off the page, and it was these blue letters and shapes and forms, and they were interacting with me, and I could feel it. But what was interesting is when you said to inhale it or put it in my spirit, it didn't go the normal way. What happened was it sort of broke up in 10 different pieces, and it went through my fingertips, and just sort of putting that stamp on, creativity and so forth. And then, of course, I thought, and that's 10 again. So it was feeling that I was going inside something and then experiencing almost a double portion of that, if that makes sense, because it was continuously through this whole encounter. That was sort of the idea that I get. Sometimes when you have a dream within a dream, and I feel that this morning I had a dream of the spirit of knowledge, and I feel that was the instigator or the spark for carrying down this marvelous encounter. So thank you very much.
Wow, fantastic. Thank you for sharing, Karen. Kristen.
Yes, sir. Something small but really impactful is when we were standing in heaven, and you said as we were just standing there that all the angels were looking at us. And that reminded me, my friend Selena on this call was telling me yesterday that she coaches her Sunday school kids, that when we stand in heaven, all the angels are so enthralled with who we are. They love to look at Jesus, and our just being is so significant. So when you said that, it drew my attention to that. And then we engaged my scroll, and I noticed that I had no anxiety in engaging the scroll this time, because I knew that just being in Christ and with Christ was the marvel that all the angels, were looking at, that the world needed to see. And so I could engage my scroll effortlessly and in fun without the anxiety of, oh no, am I doing everything right on my scroll? And so that just completely lifted and broke off of me. And it was just like, I could dance and engage with my scroll in a really playful way, because it didn't matter that I accomplished everything on the scroll. Just me standing there with Jesus inside of me was the event that everyone was waiting for. So I just wanted to share. It encouraged me so much. Thank you. And thank you, Selena, too.
Fantastic. Thanks, Kristen. That was fantastic. Righty, who else would like to share? Nicole, you can go.
I am, I'm just totally wrecked. That's all I can say. Like all these used tissues right here. I'm just trying to figure out where to start. I guess when we went into the fifth circle, I mean, I'm just totally wrecked, but you said the secret place, the secret garden, and instantly, I don't know if anybody's seen that movie of The Shack, but I was in the garden and Jesus told me to lie down. And I do this in the natural. It's like a grounding, the earth kind of like recharges our body as a battery kind of thing. So I was laying on this amazing garden and he was just working and he said, just sit there. And as you were talking, he was digging a grave. And so, just a couple, probably like a month ago, the Lord showed me, I'm 37, but at the time that he showed me when I was like about 7 and 10, 2 different people that have hurt me and I didn't know. And so, and this was a month ago and I've been processing and healing and stuff like that. And these 2 instances went into the grave. And as we rose back up and we descended and I was on the throne, my angel was holding me and the Lord showed me my picture of when I was a little girl and I'm just so, and how my life was truly supposed to be. And I just have this picture that I never had before. And there's just so much there, but I just wanted to tell you all that.
Wow, that's fantastic. Lots of inner healing happening there, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you for sharing, Nicole. Thank you for being vulnerable.
I was like, do I even say this? But I don't know where y'all live, so it's safer here in South Africa. But thank you very much.
Thanks, Nicole. Marilee, go.
There we go. Sure, it was just such a joyful experience. Yeah, I want to cry because of joy. My spirit kind of almost anticipated tonight because I've been going through immensely difficult stuff and really battling. And today, the battle started lifting, and by the time we came online tonight, I was in joy. My spirit was light, and then this immersion, that's all I can call it. I got immersed in this process more than when I saw things. I experienced things, but I just felt so immersed in everything. And just some highlights going through that fifth circle, that was in flames. And I went through it and there was a mantle over me of these golden discs, and they were not fabric. They were not attached, but yet they formed a mantle. And it was as if everything was alive and moving, and my body, my whole body was flames. But it wasn't hot, it wasn't uncomfortable, it was just everything was moving, everything was alive. And it was just quite amazing. And going into the water, the water didn't extinguish those flames. It's one's at a total loss of words the water, when I entered into it, was this almost milky turquoise, yet, even though it was milky, it was see-through. It was transparent. And then we moved deeper in, and it became this deep, deep, deep blue, to the foundation, to the creation of everything. So, but I think just overall the experience I had was joy, leaving things behind, seeing a totally new picture of my life. It was as if I've all my life seen my story from the one side, and it wasn't a pretty picture. It was, I've always said that you can write about 10 soapies out of my life. And suddenly there was just the switch, and I saw my life from a completely different perspective, and the whole story is looking completely different. Yeah, so I think by tomorrow I'll have the storyline together. Right now I'm a bit overwhelmed by everything. Yeah, it's just it's amazing. That's all I can say.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing, Marilee. Paula.
Hello, let me put my video on. I saw a lot of the same things as Marilee. That's why I wanted to share, but also when you said go through the circles, I was swishing through 100 of them, and then you said no, 5, so I had to go all the way back and start from scratch. The fifth one was also, I knew it was fire, but it didn't look like fire. It was just this immense yellow and orange light that it consumed me. I don't know. It's like if I was a glass bottle and I just was filled with orange and yellow. And then the dome also, it looked everything, the if you can call it the air, the sky, I was floating in the middle of it, and it became a glass, like a big glass ball. And it was also this white yellow haze inside, and I saw so many angels, and they had scrolls, and they were opening the scrolls and then swishing into the scroll, and then shoop, they come back and they've got another scroll. It was amazing, and very busy. And then when I went with Jesus to the secret garden, it looked different than any other garden I've ever seen. And I also had such a cry. His love for me was so overwhelming. I didn't want to leave. When you said, okay, move back, I was thinking, no, wait, I still want to be here. It was so amazing and so beautiful. And then same as Marilee, the water was turquoise and a weird turquoise, but still bright turquoise. And as we went deeper, it became more like a navy, dark royal blue. And when I saw Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, I was standing holding Jesus's hand, and they were all looking, or we were all looking. It was pitch black, looking in front of us, and then Jesus said, "No, I must stand between him and the Father." And we were holding hands, and then speaking stuff that looked like, I don't know, like light rays or fire or something, just streaming out. I just knew it was so powerful. And then the angel came and gave my scroll, and when I opened it, it was like pictures, like printed pictures that just flashed through me. And then I also saw, which upset me a bit, I think the hurts of this life and traumas and what you do to yourself and people that changes the picture from what God intended. But he showed me that time is nothing to him, so he will sort it out. If it was weird. I saw myself waking up tomorrow, and I mean, that perfect picture, all the brokenness and rubbish is just gone. It's just not there. So I just want to give him all the glory and say thank you so much. It was amazing. I think it's a life changer.
Sure. Thank you, Paula. Thank you for sharing and being vulnerable. Brandy. Your mic, you need to unmute.
Sorry. Okay. You can hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So this is my first time sharing. I'm still fairly new to this. But those 5 circles, I don't know what they were, but I know when I went through them, I didn't see fire or anything, but there was a major dynamic shift in the very, very core of my spirit or something. I could feel it, like I really, really could feel it. Something totally changed with each one. I don't know any much more than that, but I know when you, the earlier experiences about taking us through hurts and stuff like that, one thing that really was healing is those times where I went through heartache and where I thought I was alone. Jesus took me back through those, and he showed that he had this golden bubble of love around me, that he had me enclosed in it, and he was pouring on love all the way through. And he was taking me through those times, saying, "You were never alone. I was with you," and showed how some of those broken times, those times when I was at my weakest and I felt broken, there was actually new growth that came out of them that was essential for who I am today. So that was amazing. And also there are little parts of it. I know I went through more, but it seems like some that I don't remember. Is that normal to happen?
You mean parts of your life that you don't remember, or part of the
No,
engagement?
parts of this experience.
Yeah, because your spirit goes through different realms and experiences. So it's completely normal. Sometimes sometimes people even fall asleep during an engagement because your spirit enters into such a place of peace and rest that sometimes and time collapses within that engagement, which is also what could cause that sometimes you can't remember. And even though you don't remember, your spirit engaged something, your spirit encountered something, and something has opened up within there. So, yeah, absolutely. And that's what Jesus wanted to show you today. So, well done. Thank you for sharing, Brandy. Selena.
Yeah, I have a question. I have trouble with understanding and knowing the scroll.
Okay, can I first pause you there?
Yeah.
And
So
we just want to finish the engagements first, and then we'll answer questions.
okay. Yeah, I don't want to take up time. It was fantastic, but
okay, just hang in there. We'll do questions now. Is there anybody else who would like to share? Jolene.
Yeah, Misha.
Go for it.
Yes, but yes, I'd like to share because it was pretty incredible. I doing good to not bawl my eyes out here. So yeah, it was so intense, and I was moving through it before you had mentioned things. I was already there, so that's what made it even more incredible.
Wow.
So when I got to the 5th concentric circle, and it was like a lighted mirror. Like when you look into a lighted magnified mirror, the light around the mirror. And so it's like beholding, as in a mirror. And so that was kind of some scriptures just popped in. I'm nervous, but excited nervous. It was Jesus, when you said that Jesus is coming up to you now, it's like he just embraced me, like just heart to heart, face to face. It was magical. I was like, I was like, I was talking to him and I said, I just want to be all up in your space. And he's like, oh, I just want to be all up in your space. So it's like, come on, you know, so it's just like, no room, don't just stay close. So in the end, when we received the scroll was like a transparent, like a glass scroll, but it was a glass flexible scroll. So it rolled out, and on the as the path lied out, or the map, it was like transparent gold was the paths, and it's like the scroll merged into me, and I merged into the scroll. And like I said, it's going along, and then as you write it, when you say that it's beginning to release into your DNA, I was already seeing that it was flowing through the chambers of every vein in my body, and then spreading out and filling every space, nook, and cranny within, just being magnified. It was just expanding. So there's so much more, but like you just told that lady, I forget, it was like time did collapse in there. So I think in my spirit, I know gathered it all, but my mind is like, oh my gosh, what just happened? So it was awesome. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing.
Thank
Just
you.
want to know, pronouncing your name, is it Jolyn or Jolene?
Jolyn.
Jolyn. Okay.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing, Jolyn.
Yeah, thank you.
Wonderful engagement. Anybody else that would like to share their Dorette, you can go for it.
I won't share all of it, but just because I want to hear others speaking too. But a couple of things that really kind of stood out to me. And when I went in through the triangle through youth, the first thing I saw was teal colored waters, blue and green. And I've seen this a lot of times. And so I was like, okay, I'm in a familiar place a little bit, but it's also different because there was this whole galaxies over top. And and I saw the angels, and I wanted to engage with them, but they were like, no, look at this. And I saw for a moment this large building, but it was only a roof without walls. And I was like, is that a place of worship? And it kind of felt not entirely the right thing. And and they were like, no, come in. And then when I came in, I saw that it was a place of light. It was bright light inside, but there were people there, and the angels were ministering to them to be able to go further into their journeys. So it was people who had gotten stuck in whatever place, and the angels were just helping them to be able to get unstuck and move on. And so that was exciting. I got a little journey on the side before I got back into the circles. And then when you invited us to go with Jesus to the garden, I saw him like Jesus in The Chosen, but with really beautiful clothing and really in glory. And that was really neat to kind of have those two images together. And in the garden, when I asked him, what is it that you would like to release me of and to set me free from, he said the fear of man. And I realized that a lot of places where I've been struggling has been because I want others to be happy with me, and I'm going too far with that. And so and I immediately tried to start fixing that for myself rather than letting him do it. And so he then when you said, no, just give it to him, and I gave it to him, and he replaced that with his light. It was like a huge burden came off. And so there was just so much joy and just dancing out with him. So thank you.
Oh, fantastic. And that's a very personal thing to share, because the reality is many of us have some aspect of the fear of man that we're dealing with and want to be liked, you know. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
The last opportunity for anybody who'd like to share, and then we'll take some questions.
Can I just give a scripture I felt was for Nicole? Well, it was for all of us, but
Go for it, Catherine.
it's Psalm 139:5 in the Passion Translation. It says, "You've gone into my future to prepare the way, and in kindness you follow behind me to spare me from the harm of my past. You have laid your hand on me." And in verse 6, it says, "This is just too wonderful, deep, and incomprehensible. Your understanding of me brings me wonder and strength."
Beautiful
Wow.
scripture.
Thank
Sums
you
it up
so much.
perfectly. So that
Thank
was
you.
Psalm 139.
5 and 6. Thank you.
Bananas. Dan, you want to share?
I'll try and be brief. Oh, so much. First of all, when you mentioned breath, I saw like the circular movement of the breath in the form of the 8. I just saw that. We were just breathing, sharing the Lord's breath, and then I saw an 8 symbol of eternity just emerged. And then there was, I saw the tree of life. And then the Lord met me and said, "I want you to come into the river of life." So we walked into the river of life. And then he started to open up Mem to me. And I saw the expression of the water of life, the waters in the heavens, the upper heavens and the sea, upper and lower heavens in the creation. And then he started to talk to me about the wells of salvation. But in that moment, actually, I've had tears, my own tears. That's another expression of Mem, the water from your eyes. And then you went into the garden. And then I saw the tree of life again, but this time also to wind of God, the Ruach HaKodesh, blowing through the leaves of the tree. And it's all the same, but just different expressions of life. And then I got present to the Ruach HaKodesh actually dancing in the tree of life. And I could see the leaves moving and dancing. And then I got present to the scripture where it says it's talk about the spirit. You can't really see where the spirit is going. The spirit's going to, I don't know the exact words, but it's like when you can't really tell where the wind's going, but you can sort of, that scripture.
That scripture.
And then it was all dark. Then I got present to these really beautiful white wings. And I was sort of reminded of dove wings. And then I saw this dance on the water in creation when the Holy Spirit was dancing on the water, and it was showing me how creation was coming into being, and it was dancing, these wings dancing on the water, and it was dark, and that was Mem. So he was creating with Mem. And then I was really present throughout the whole thing to like surrender, and it was like a vibration. It was vibrate, this deep surrender, particularly when you were talking about the rings and the wheels and going into the yod and like descending into nothing. There was like this deep surrender, and with it there was like a vibration. I felt a frequency, and because I was talking to him about a situation I'm dealing with currently, and he was showing me forgiveness. It's not just a word, it's a vibration. It has energy and a frequency. And with forgiveness, there's understanding and compassion, and they all work together, and they all have energy, and they all have frequency. And then he said to me, "I want you to be an instrument of my peace, and I need to tune you. And you need to be tuned in alignment with forgiveness and understanding and compassion and surrender." And it's needed because people are in survival mode, and they're just doing what they know to do, because that's all they know to do. And what he wants is a demonstration of his love and his peace and his understanding and his compassion, so that people can align themselves and tune in to his frequencies. So he's looking for instruments of his peace. And then he showed me surrender and letting go. And then there was this beautiful, the like harmonizing of forgiveness and understanding and compassion. It's just this beautiful harmony and sound and frequency. And he wants instruments of peace. And then he showed me the Shin, because the Shin is like the fire, and the Lamed is the teacher, and Mem is the water. But he says to have the fish, you need the water, and the water has to be pure. And then he started to show me that the inner realms of creation, and it's just this really still, peaceful space that you can return to any time that you want. And it's a place of rest. And that's it. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you for sharing. Alrighty, I want to give an opportunity for some questions. Becky, I don't know if you're still there. If you wanted to ask that question you wanted to ask me earlier on, or if I answered it when I replied. But I just wanted to mention, because Sunil also asked me a little 2 weeks ago, there's a couple of people that want to just some clarity about unlocking your spiritual senses. So in other words, your sight, your hearing, using your imagination, etc. So I'm planning a session to use one of our Zoom sessions to just focus on that a bit, for people who might be struggling a little bit with engaging the spirit realm and how to use your senses and to train that. And so next week is then we're focusing on Tav, which is the last Hebrew letter. And then the week after that, we almost got our session where we're going to discover our Hebrew names. So that's in 2 weeks' time. So if you will, just diarize that, we're going to take you through the process of how to discover your Hebrew name. And then I think the week after that, there'll be a break, and then we can plan it for then. So what's that, 4 weeks' time, that we'll go through the aspect of your senses and how to experience the supernatural realm and how to train it a bit, etc. So it won't be in depth, but it will give you the basics just to engage with and to flow from there. Selena, you can throw your question. Thank you for waiting.
Yeah, sure. I don't know if this is, if anybody else is experiencing this, but the understanding of scroll, or maybe I'm asking, is this, when you see your scroll, it's just quite individual, so that I've never seen like any words, or I don't even have an understanding, maybe a little bit of knowing, but every time I see a scroll, it is movement with shape and life and light. And I guess what I'm looking for personally is, I'm in a very big transition in life. So I'll go, just tell me where, kind of thing.
Yes.
And so I'm just a little, I know the scrolls are living, but it literally becomes movement and light. And like in my time, that pool, I'm so much, but that pool, that water was very deep blue, turned to turquoise blue, turned to turquoise green, almost light, the deeper I went, which was cool. And then another time in our time, it was immediately in the scroll thing, was immediately out in universes, like way, way out, from deep to way, way high, to the mountaintops, often on mountaintops, and not even necessarily on this planet. And so in that understanding a scroll, a purpose, a destiny, kind of you wrapping things up that way, I'm like, well, how does that translate now? I'll just stay out in the somewhere else. So I'm the more we do this, and I'm not frustrated. I'm just slightly confused.
So if I now understand right, your question is about the scroll and how does it translate into your physical, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming that scrolls, everybody's scroll is so individual, but is it normal? Is it abnormal? Is it just a process that all I see is, I see this maybe a letters or something, but it just becomes movement and light and shapes, but I don't know how to apply that.
Yeah. So firstly, if I can give you a practical example of what I do, for instance, when I'm gonna prepare something, or if I'm gonna do a teaching, I do a spiritual engagement where I go with my angel into the libraries and I go fetch the blueprint or scroll for that teaching. Now, when I'm there and I open that scroll, I 9 out of 10 times cannot see what's written in there. But I engage the spiritual entities embedded within in that scroll. So a scroll can manifest in many ways, as in the angelic realm, or it can be like a book that you see. The colors and everything. For me, the 7 spirits of God play a key role in the scroll, because they are mandated to teach the sons of God to mature. As you mature more, you are able to see and experience more within a scroll. For me, engaging the scroll is about my spiritual experience and activation. So my mind might not necessarily know all what I'm seeing and engaging, but my spirit does. So when I go and I engage that with my angel, I receive that scroll, I put it in my spirit. I'm sensitive to what the Lord shows me to engage with. You mentioned the colors, the frequencies, I breathe that in. So I go through a process of union and oneness with that scroll, that my spirit and that scroll intertwine. Then when I go and I prepare and I start to, and then I start to speak it out. And when I start to prepare, then I say, I release what I engaged in the scroll to be manifest into this paper, or what I'm writing, etc. And that's when the revelation starts to flow from me because I've taken my spiritual engagement and I've channeled it through something practical that I'm doing, which is working out a teaching. Now, for you, it can be something different. It can be the dancing. I'm thinking of Dorette with her dancing school, etc. I'd go and engage the scroll of that school, and in whichever way Jesus is showing it to me or experiencing it. And as I engage that scroll, when I start to go into the dancing, then I start to speak it out. And I speak it into the atmosphere, that I release what was embedded in the scroll, that the blueprint and the hologram will rise up into the atmosphere, and I release the angels that were embedded in that scroll to start facilitate and flesh out whatever it is with that in the scroll. So for me, engaging the scroll is a spiritual experience, but then I relay it practically through the channel that I want to manifest into, which for me would now be working out a teaching. It can be for you a project, etc. So in your mind's eye, you must always think in the aspect of, you went into the spirit realm, your spirit soaked up what was embedded within that scroll. Whether your mind can understand that or not is pretty much irrelevant. Be careful of falling in the trap that you only believe it if your mind understands it, because then you want to rationalize everything, and the spirit doesn't work that way. You got to, that's where the faith in your sonship comes in, is that I engage the scroll. It is embedded in my spirit. It was released, and I, by faith, act into the channel that I'm releasing it into, whatever practical it can be. I hope that helps.
That's so helpful.
But I understand what you're saying, because for me, you know, it's one thing to be spiritual and to engage, but I want to see it manifest in my physical realm. You know, that's why, you know, I can't help but giggle when I hear about these people who go out and they create galaxies and all that. So that's like wonderful, and it grows your relationship with Jesus. But let's pull it back into practicality. You know, you can tell me you're creating galaxies and putting planets into place, but you can't change your financial circumstances. You know what I mean? So I'm saying our spiritual experience must mature us as son, because the proof of maturity is when you can take from the spirit realm and release it into the physical. And when you see that manifestation, then we can start chatting. But if someone tells me I created galaxies, and well, that's your personal relationship and growing with Jesus, you know. So I hope that helps. Anybody else for a question?
Thank you
I
so
have a
much.
question.
If I have an answer, but Paul, go for it.
Okay, so I have two questions. The first is asking you personally, Charles, where do you get all this background information and knowledge from?
Sometimes I stun myself.
Are they
So-
from books, or the majority from the Lord, or do you have like backup, like references and books that you read, etc.?
So what I'm teaching you in these groups is what I do. You know what I mean? So I go through the processes that we go in the engagement is what I do in my meditation time, my time with Jesus, is to take me to stuff. I go and engage it. And because my thing has always been that my foundational scripture is the one in, I think it's Ephesians or Colossians, where it says, I engage the spirit of wisdom and understanding so that I may know him and his ways. And that is always important for me. I always want to know Jesus more. You know what I mean? That is the primary for me. And secondary is all the other engagements. So what you see in the group is what I do in my personal life. My meditation, I go and I engage in the spirit. I go and fetch, and I start to speak it out and release it into the physical realm. And what I always encourage people is, don't be scared to make mistakes. Don't be scared to practice. You're a son of God. It doesn't matter whether it's this angel Metatron or whatever, they are all still servants. But you are a son of God. You are the one that has creation and the completeness embedded in you. And that's why creation looks to you, because its completeness lies with you. So the authority and what we can do as sons is so huge, but that's why you have the 7 spirits of God, because they teach us and train us to mature, because otherwise we will wreak havoc with the power that we actually have within us.
Wow, thank you.
I went wide, Paul. Did
No.
that even answer your question?
Oh my gosh. And I'm so encouraged to hear that. So thank you so much. My second question is this. When you asked us to enter the triangle, and I can't remember whether the letter was Yod.
Yes, Yod.
Right. From that, it's the first time I've actually heard a sound coming from it. And it was a low frequency sound, like the beginning of like a huge truck, like beginning to blow its horn, that low, deep frequency. What do I do with that? And it's the first time I've heard, no, sorry, it's the second time in my spiritual life that I have heard a sound, but the first time in true engagement, which is today. What do I do with that? And what does that mean?
Well, firstly, that is a new frequency that is released in your spirit. So I would engage that frequency. So in other words, in your next prayer time, engagement time, meditation or whatever, I'd recall that frequency and see, what does Jesus tell me about that frequency? What does that frequency carry? And then I just speak into it and release it into my spirit. So whenever you are experiencing something, so if I just think about you saying that's the first time you've heard that, so in other words, that means a new pathway is actually opened up for you. The fact that you heard something, that's pretty incredible. That frequency carries an angelic realm, it carries a mandate, and something in that frequency is released anew in your spirit. So in other words, you have to take that in your time with Jesus and ask, what is it? What is it releasing? And when he tells you what it is releasing, then I start to speak into it, because you're a prophet. And when you speak, you bring original intent into place. So what he says that frequency carries, then I release it into my circumstances. I release that frequency in my spirit, so that the fullness and the mandates that it carries will manifest and mature my sonship.
Fantastic. Oh, I had to ask that question. I wasn't going to share that question, but when you talked about hearing God or the different things that you're going to be doing, then I thought I must ask that. So thank you.
Pleasure. Oh, bananas. At everybody. Wonderful. It was super duper to have you all part of the group. And for those who are new, I trust that you had an encounter. I don't ask people, how do you enjoy it? Because that's your time with Jesus. We're not about enjoyment. I want encounter and Jesus doing something in your spirit. But you guys must have a lovely week. I apologize. I forgot to link the previous video into the blog. So I did it today. But I apologize. I don't know, just like, but awesome. This video will link to the blog so that you can go and look at it again and engage at your leisure. Marvelous. Love you guys lots and see you next week.
Oh, Cheryl, I have one more question.
Yeah.
Really quick. When does the school start? And do we get to keep these engagements even after the school and you stop doing these engagements on a regular basis? Will we still be able to access past engagements and teachings about all the living letters? Because it's so rich.
The foundation of Throne Room Mystic is the blog and the engagement groups. It will never go away. So we'll always do the blogs, we'll always do the engagement groups. So that's not going to disappear. The academy is on the sideline that we're busy building and starting to release courses, etc., for you guys to engage with and for whoever else. But the blog and the engagement groups is not going anywhere.
Okay. Thank you. Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Okay. Alrighty, guys. Love you lots. Have a nice week.
Bye-bye, Cheryl.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Ciao.
Shalom. Shalom.
Shalom.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Hey, Cheryl, can you say one more time how to get to all these videos? Because I seem to not be able to get there.
So when you
you're there.
So when you go to the previous blog, for instance, then you scroll right to the bottom, then you'll get the podcast. So the podcast is the blog, but just on a podcast if you want to listen to it. And below the podcast is the YouTube video.
Okay.
That's where you'll find it. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. And thank you so
won't.
much for having this event. It's such a blessing.
It's a big pleasure, Susan. If you go to the YouTube channel, you are not going to find these videos there because I put them as unlisted because I don't want the general public to go and look at them.
Right.
So it's only the blog subscribers that can see these videos, and the only way you can access them is through the blog.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Cheryl. And God bless you. Have a
guys.
great week.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
you too. Enjoy your week.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, all. Bye-bye.
Bye, Rita. Bye-bye, Marilee.